Welcome to ComedyMX's Cartoon Classics channel. Binge out on the animated Superman, Popeye, Bugs Bunny and Friends, Technicolor classic tunes, animators UB Iwerks and Max Fleischer, Mickey Mouse, Betty Boop, and all your cartoon favorites.
And now stand by for adventure.
3, 2, 1.
In the exciting story of Squeak and the Terrible Termite. In his cave on 00 Island, Scratch awoke each morning just as the first sunbeam peeked through. He would yawn, then reach for his trusty wooden club to be sure it was ready for the day's adventures. Colonel Bleep, in his laboratory, was up early, just in time to silence that noisy bird in the wooden clock before it could finish its morning call. Because in his little dream house, Squeak would still be sound asleep in his cozy bed. This morning, however, things began in a very different way. When Scratch yawned and reached for his wooden club, it was missing. Only a few crumbs of sawdust remained. When Bleep got up to silence the cuckoo clock, something was very wrong indeed. Only the metal springs, gears, and numerals were left. Every wooden part of that clock had vanished. Even the cuckoo. Bleep and Scratch rushed to awaken Squeak, but the little puppet's bed was empty, and Squeak himself was nowhere to be found. The only clue was a trail of unusual footprints, which Bleep recognized immediately. Only yesterday in his lab, the Colonel had seen those very same footprints, only much smaller in size. Following the tracks, he had discovered a tiny wood-eating insect called a termite. But Bleep was amazed to find that this particular termite had traces of interplanetary wood dust on its wings. Something strange was going on. Somehow, by some strange power, a tiny termite had grown overnight into a giant monster. There was no doubt. A wood-eating monster of tremendous size was on the loose. Poor Squeak, the little wooden puppet, had been captured by a giant termite. A terrible termite. The Colonel sped into action. Using atomic energy, he quickly made for Scratch a brand new club. Not of wood, but of solid lead, one of the heaviest, most malleable metals commonly used by man. Thus armed, Bleep and Scratch hurriedly followed the footprints to rescue their little friend. Suddenly, they were upon him. There was the great insect sprinkling salt on the poor wooden puppet, who lay bound on a huge platter. This was a time for quick thinking and fast action. With caveman strength, Scratch molded his heavy but malleable metal club into a statue that looked exactly like Squeak. And as the termite turned to put away the salt, Scratch quickly substituted the metal statue for the real puppet. And at the same time, Bleep charged the statue with a bolt of atomic lightning. Then the terrible termite turned, and in one hungry gulp, swallowed the charged statue. With a howl of pain, the monster leaped into the sea to cool off. But the weight of that heavy metal statue pulled him down, down, 50 fathoms under. So once again, peace was restored to 00 Island. And while Scratch fashioned a new wooden club, and Colonel Bleep prepared the cuckoo clock, little Squeak snoozed soundly in his cozy little bed. Tired from his exciting adventure, and completely unaware that even greater danger lay ahead. And now stand by for adventure. exciting story of Test of Friendship. Ordinarily, Squeak the puppet and Scratch the caveman were the very best of friends. It was Scratch who had carved Squeak's favorite toy, a wonderful wooden hobby horse. And Squeak was forever surprising his caveman buddy with a scrumptious coconut pie. Together, as space deputies in Colonel Bleep's scooter squadron, they shared many thrilling adventures as they fought to maintain right and justice throughout the vast galaxies of the universe. Yes, Squeak and Scratch were more than just good friends. They were almost like brothers. Until today, like a bolt from the blue, the Daily Mail rocket arrived with a special delivery message from the Futurian High Command. A message which threatened to shatter forever this wonderful friendship. To Colonel Bleep, Commander 00 Island. Squeak and Scratch are tied for award as Space Deputy of the Year. You must choose the winner by dawn tomorrow. Space Deputy of the Year? This is important, for the one cadet chosen each year wins his own personal merit flag to prove that he is the finest space deputy of them all. There is no friendship now. Squeak knows if it wasn't for Scratch, the winner's flag would be his. And the caveman knows only Squeak stands in the way of his victory. This is the showdown. There can be only one winner, and it's gonna be me. For the rest of the day, neither the puppet nor the caveman have one single word to say to one another. That night, little Squeak lay awake, recalling his many adventures of the past year. There was that time on Jupiter's 12th moon when he and Bleep were captured by Doctor Destructo's giant vampire bat. But wait, it was Scratch and his mighty super bird who saved them from a terrible fate. Oh, well, what about the time he was frozen in solid ice by the terrible ice demons of Saturn? Why, again, it was Scratch who came to the rescue with an army of marching penguins. And when Black Patch forced him to walk the plank, it was Scratch who routed the pirate band with a pilgrim blunderbuss. Maybe Scratch is the one who deserves to win the merit flag after all. Meanwhile, in his darkened cave, Scratch is thinking of his year's adventures. Could he ever forget the time he was swallowed alive by a giant sea serpent? Say, come to think of it, it was little Squeak who was first to the rescue. And that day on the moon when the caveman slipped and fell from Destructo's giant observation tower. Who saved him then? Why, his puppet pal. And who could have shown more courage and valor than little Squeak when he faced the powerful Black Knight alone on the field of battle? It was hard to believe, but perhaps Squeak should be chosen Space Deputy of the Year. At dawn the next morning, Bleep found 2 letters under his door. One from Squeak and one from Scratch. The puppet had written, Scratch deserves to win. And the caveman had written, Squeak deserves to win. It's time to announce the winner. Squeak and Scratch snapped to attention. Then the space cadets blinked in surprise. For instead of a name on the flag of honor, there is only a huge letter S. But does this initial S stand for Squeak or Scratch? No one knows, not even Colonel Bleep. For how could anyone choose just one winner from 2 such brave and unselfish cadets? And so it was that the caveman and the puppet shared the winner's flag. And Once again, Squeak and Scratch were more than just good friends. They were almost like brothers. And now stand by for adventure.
3, 2, 1.
In the exciting story of Tunnel in Space. The Wonder Rocket Travel Lab speeds through space past the red world of Mars and into the belt of asteroids, gateway to the giant planet Jupiter. Inside the spaceship, Bleep and his crew prepare to land. Cut off power circuit. Roger. Activate landing generators. Roger. Set gyro governing dials. Roger. 50 leagues from touchdown. 25 leagues. 10, 5, 3, 2, 1. Touchdown. They've arrived. Jupiter welcomes you. Step aboard, please. Squeak and Scratch gaze in wonder as they speed to Space Command headquarters. Jupiter City is the busiest spaceport in the solar system. Rockets depart regularly for every point in the galaxy. Every point except one. No spacecraft can safely navigate the flaming meteor belt surrounding Septa, Jupiter's seventh moon. And so Colonel Bleep has arrived to supervise the construction of a gigantic space tunnel which will span this hazardous area. Through this protective tube, spaceships will travel in safety. No longer will the deadly shower of flaming meteors be a menace to space travel. Work on the project begins immediately. Under the Colonel's careful supervision, an expert crew of Jupiter robot engineers assemble the framework of the tunnel sections. According to plan, the travel app provides power to carry each section into proper position, while Squeak and Scratch guide its travel using their tiny space scooters like small pilot boats steering an ocean liner to port. At a given signal, release cable, the scooter pilots cut off their lines and dive for the safety of the tunnel for protection against the crashing meteors. Section after section is guided into place, each connecting to the other, until only one section remains. Carefully, the scooter cadets guide its course as the travel app builds up power to slam the section into place. Space scooters, release cables. Scratch is free. Into the tube he dives. But little Squeak's cable is jammed. Again and again, the puppet pours on power, but the cable will not break loose. Bail out, Squeak! Wait before it's too late! Run, fella, run! Here come the meteors! Poor Squeak hasn't a chance. But wait, what's that? Why, it's Scratch, and he's flying upside. Alley-oop, he's got him! But the caveman can't reach the controls in this position. They're headed deeper into the meteor shower. They've got to turn back, but how? Look, Squeak's pants are caught. Sizzling Saturn, will the puppet's elastic arm cords hold? They did! Back they catapult at tremendous speed, safely out
out of the meteor storm. And so, once again, Squeak and Scratch risk their very lives to help make interplanetary space travel safe throughout the universe.